Hello, everyone. This is Brian Trouchold, and we are back with another Sales Operator series. I'm joined today by my friend Ronnell. It's been too long since I saw you, man. How are you doing?
Man, I'm a little bit motivated to get into the gym this morning, Brian. When I see you
Uh-oh.
and see those guns popping a little
Oh,
bit, like I'm like, I gotta go do some biceps.
no, I'm not having that because I gotta call you out, dude. I saw the post you had the other day, repping 225. I saw your post. I'm paying attention. I didn't
Okay,
comment.
Brian, that's a slight exaggeration because I have the muscle to rep 225. I don't have the joints for it anymore. My shoulders are kill me on that. So I'm like, I'm a consistent like 200 guy right now. That kind of prevents the pain.
You don't have to put it out there. Look, I still like to mess around with that too, but it mainly because no one else in the gym is doing it. And so you just
Mm.
want to be able to do it a couple times. So you're like, yeah, okay, I still got it. I can still get over here. Feel like I could go to the combine.
Brian, I got a couple years on you, man. So I'm like even over that. I'm like, I don't care. Like, yeah, you go ahead and do your 225, and I'm good over here. I'm done competing.
that's wiser. That's what a wiser man would say.
It's a
Um,
lesson you learn the hard way, brother. I popped something up here in the shoulder like about 2.5 years ago, and it's just now getting better.
oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, yeah. I'll
I mean,
leave the big heavy lifts to you.
we could take this like straight to like maybe we need like a workout and sales series or something like that. But
I like it.
I've hit the age where where you get injuries from not doing anything. Like you like wake up in the morning and you're like, what did I like my neck is like broken. I'm like, I did nothing. I went to bed at a normal time.
Dude, I know, and I know so many people listen to this can relate. Like, it just kind of is what it is, man. So
Yeah.
either you're gonna hurt yourself doing something good, or you're gonna hurt yourself doing nothing. So I guess we might as well do something good.
That's a good segue. Speaking of seeing your weightlifting prowess, I've been seeing you all over LinkedIn. Recently I've been seeing posts from your travels. I
Yeah.
love the tips that you're putting out there. I want to just dive right in because I have a feeling you are working with people and learning stuff quickly. What's how is like the sales process and maybe like how you're advising your customers? How has that changed with all the chaos? I just say in the last 12
Yeah.
months to pick a time frame.
Well, the first thing, Brian, you referenced my travels, right? Which I share a lot on Instagram. I share some of that on LinkedIn, share some of that on Substack. And, the last quarter or so, I really made an effort to get out there and connect with my community. And that was what it was really about, man. Like, I took I went on the road for like 17 days, right? And
Wow.
I didn't have like a full schedule, mean in terms of like, this is where I'm gonna go. This is what I'm gonna do. No, I had like 4 cities that I was gonna hit, and outside of that, I let the community tell me where they wanted me, right?
That's
And so I had
cool.
people that reached out and were like, "Hey, Ronell, come out to Wilmington." I said, "Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'll come out to Wilmington." So I went to Wilmington, North Carolina, and met up with 6 folks there, had some cocktails, had some great conversation. And I think to answer your second question, that is kind of a segue into what is working and what is impactful right now, right? With the technology that's out there, so many people are trying to use this technology to make their jobs easier, and I'm not mad at that. Become more efficient; those are good things. But the technology is becoming a barrier to some of this real connection, right? And ultimately, at the end of the day, what is going to make most of us successful is that we get out there and we press the flesh with one, two, three, four people. Like most people that are either users of your platform or in some sort of technology sales, SaaS sales like that, they need to close like 4 or 5 deals a month,
Yeah.
some even less than that. So if that's the case, why are we doing so much automation and AI
Yeah.
like we're Coca-Cola or AT&T and not just one guy trying to sell to another guy, right? One guy just
Yeah.
trying to build a relationship. So part of getting out there for me, Brian, was one, connecting with my community and network, and two, showing you all, like, listen, this is what it's about at the end of the day. But also weaving, and if you follow my Substack, I talk a lot about AI. I'm talking a lot about automation and technology because I'm a technologist. But I talk about it in terms of how we leverage these wonderful technologies to do two things. To one, to funnel us to a real connection faster, and two, to create better outcomes for the people that we serve. And, that's what I've been able to do. So, like, I did a webinar last week where it was focused on, for one of my clients, is focused on building versus buying, right? And when to build versus when to buy platforms, right? Right now, we've got all of this access to platforms and things, but the reality is 95% of agentic AI um, builds don't deliver any revenue outcomes.
Yeah,
Right? So we're
yeah.
trying to take on things that we probably shouldn't take on. We need to focus on, like, if we absolutely should be building things. I'm building things right now for my clients and for my businesses. But I build simple things simple, with low risk, with high outcomes, right? And then
That's
I
a
leave
great
those advanced
framework.
platforms to guys like you. Like, you've
Yeah.
got teams that have been building these platforms. You have the institutional knowledge that I don't have. It's foolish for me to think, oh, I'm going to build a platform like theirs just because I have a hammer and a screwdriver. I got the tools so I can build it, right?
It's funny you say that, and I don't wanna, like, overemphasize because we live in that build versus buy conversation a lot now. To your point, there's so many tools and there's so much noise, which isn't a bad thing about, like, what you're capable of building. You can build all these cool things, and so I think the people in the community are really inspired by, like, I have the ability to build things now. It's funny,
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost like you mentioned, like, going virtual, in the COVID time, and I think I feel like it's kind of like, when everyone at the beginning of COVID was doing, like, home improvement projects, every single person was like, I'm at home all the time. I'm gonna build this thing in my yard. I'm going to, like,
Yeah. Bake bread.
retile. I'm gonna yeah, like, I'm gonna make bread. I'm gonna tile my floor." And, yeah, they do the reality is, I don't know where we are at 5, 6 years later, it's like a lot of the folks who didn't use professionals, those projects they look kinda shitty now. Like, it's like, oh, there's some things to know under the hood when you take up, the tile or you, like, tear all the grass out of your backyard.
Oh, yeah.
Um, anyway, I think there's something to that, like you said, of who's who's seeing around the corners. Do they have the intention of, like, really managing that platform going forward, the upkeep,
Oh,
what goes into it? Yet at the same time, I do think it's inspiring. I do think there's so many things, like you said, that can be low risk, highly impactful, relatively low energy to continue to do that make your outreach, your content, your even like your strategy, who you're going after, really, really profoundly better.
yeah. Brian, I have a philosophy as it relates to technology, and it's never going to change. Ever, never, ever. I've been saying this for years. I say it in the world of AI. I said it way before AI. What's going to make you successful with technology is focusing on a philosophy of how we use it. Okay. We have to use it as a conduit to get us closer to our customer, or to
Yeah.
provide a higher level of service to our customer and better outcomes for them. If it doesn't check those boxes, don't do it, or you're doing it the wrong way. It's the philosophy that fuels the outcomes and the success, not the tool, man. It's like watching a skilled carpenter. Like, Brian, you
Mhm.
can go out there and you can get a saw and a chisel just like anybody else. But a skilled carpenter knows how to use that saw and that chisel in a way to where it's delivering this beautiful piece of art, right?
That's not me. I can't do that. I admit it. They're gonna run circles around me. I think that's really, really well said. I'm curious, you're out there, meeting people, talking to the folks who are following you, your community. What is how are they what's the, like, groundswell or, like, really at the grassroots when you meet with people, like, what are they seeing? Are they, like, the customer journey is changing, the way to
Oh.
approach prospects is changing? Like, how are they where are they, like, feeling this in their, in their go-to-market efforts?
Wow, Brian, what a great question, man. And here's my answer, and it's an answer you're probably not gonna hear from a lot of folks. They're not seeing it. And I'm sitting here in looking like I'm in Times Square with that, like, the end is coming, sign, trying to let people know, "Listen, this is happening. Like, this is going to happen. We're in the midst of this right now, but you're not paying attention, and you need to build up your skill set. You need to change your how you're doing business." And I'm gonna tell you specifically one of the things that I'm talking about, Brian. Most people that are probably gonna watch this, or people that follow my content, or just shoot in the world, everybody's selling technology, right? Everything's technology, right? And SaaS platforms. And
Yeah.
so what these SaaS sellers aren't thinking about is the evolution of the buying journey and the evolution of the platform sale. So now you have a buyer on this side, right? That is informed in ways they never were before. Why? Because they're using Claude and Chat GPT.
Yeah, to
So
search.
this level of information that they're getting from these platforms, coupled with platform sales are changing, meaning that platforms are now being embedded with AI as well, right? So that a digital buying journey can be created over here. And then sitting here in the middle, you've got the millennial buyer, which is the largest segment of buyers in technology sales. And millennial buyers are 100% comfortable with a non-human buying process. They are
Yeah,
100% comfortable with never talking to someone if they don't have to. Older
right.
Gen X, boomers, hey, I want to talk to somebody. A
Yeah,
millennial's like, I don't want to talk. I don't got to talk to somebody. I don't want to talk to him. So think about that convergence. You got on this side, the millennial buyer that is now more informed than ever. They don't need that general level of information. And then you've got your platform here that is now creating a digital buying journey, all fueled through, both of these are being fueled through AI. So where does that leave the seller? Well, that leaves the seller, your traditional seller, your generalist seller on the outside looking in, because their general information about that product, that service, a vertical is just not that valuable because information is
right.
easy to come by. So where I'm sitting here in the middle of Times Square screaming is I'm saying, hey, listen, sellers, you need to become specialists. You can't be the general practitioner of your product industry. You have to be the neurologist. You gotta be the orthopedic surgeon. You have to speak
Yeah,
specifically to specific verticals, and not just verticals, the challenges of the different titles in those verticals, and be able to speak to uniquely to their problems and their concerns and their pain points. That is what will separate you from the robots. But see, in technology sales, the vast majority of sellers do not do that.
right.
The bar of success is, "Oh, I know my product. I know this
Yeah,
product like my." Your SMEs,
yeah.
SMEs are in danger because, AI is a better SME than you'll ever be.
You hit a couple things there that really strike me as being true, and I love the way you framed the specialist. I've not been using that word, but I'm going to steal that, and steal that concept because the thing that I take, and I'm curious if I think you'll agree, but I just wanna get it out there. You talk about the specialists, understanding their problems, understanding how to treat their problems with your expertise. That's, like, how I'm interpreting it, and I think about all of that as that allows the seller to gain trust. Like, when I if I'm in a buying process and I speak with someone on the sales side and, there's 5 other options, 5 other salespeople, ultimately, if they're similar or relatively similar products, I'm going with the highest trust. The highest trust vector is gonna most likely be the one who wins, and that trust may not just be with me, it may be with other people in the company, like, they may be canvassing the org some, but, like, if they're really an expert about what's gonna solve our problems or drive value for us, I trust them versus, like, what you're saying, if they're just like, yeah, our product does this. Yes, it does this. Here's how it compares to that one. Here's how, we charge for X, Y, and Z. Like, if they're just subject matter expert on their thing, but they're not like problem expert on my, the condition I have to use like your
Yeah.
medical one, I just trust them less. It feels like they're just, pitching versus being like, "Here, let me uncover your what's ailing you."
Well, let me take you to another level on that, Brian, and take your. I'm going to ask you to put your founder hat on, your executive hat, and let's just divorce yourself from your platform, right? And just
Sure.
like someone gets on your calendar and they're gonna try to sell you something, right? They want to pitch you something. What I'm saying is that that level of subject matter expertise and even industry expertise is devalued in the current environment, because
Mhm.
before you ever got on a call with that guy, you can search up damn near
Yeah.
anything you want, right? And then after you get off the phone with that guy, you're gonna search up more stuff and be as educated as you want to be. So, the SME, the subject matter expert, on the product or, even a vertical is less important than being an expert in your business, meaning that understanding what you care the most about outside of my product.
Right.
Not every this is where sellers get it wrong, 'cause it's always in relation to the product that I'm selling.
Right.
The reality is that you as a founder, as an executive, the shit that you really care about is probably that you care the most about is not what they're talking to you about,
It's totally true.
right? So if
Right.
they have a better understanding of, "Hey, Brian, listen, I know that because I've worked with so many clients like you, these are some of the things that my other clients are really concerned about in their businesses. It's not related to my product directly, right?
Yes.
And you understand that you understand that I understand your business holistically. And then it helps me if I do have that understanding, I'm weaving my product into ways to where it impacts the things that you care the most about. I'll give you a really simplistic, like elementary example of that from when I first started my career in technology sales a gazillion years ago. I'm out there selling T1 circuits and no one knows what the hell a T1 circuit is today. That's okay. But I'm out there, I barely knew what T1 circuits were when I was selling them. But I'm out there and I might have a decision maker. In fact, I did have decision makers that were like HR folks, right? Because back then, like everything was like crazy, and there was no like a lot of companies didn't have the IT guy, and they had a
Right.
telecom guy, and then outside the telecom guy, like everything was
Yeah.
going through operations of some sort, and
Yeah.
so I had to explain to them that because yeah, they loved the fact that well, they liked the fact that hey, my product is $700 and you're spending $1,000 a month for that right now. Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we'd like to save $300 a month, but $300 is not enough to move, or whatever that number is, isn't necessarily enough to move the needle on them to where it becomes a priority. So you get in the
Right.
loop of chasing until
Yep.
I say, hey, listen, I know you're having some issues with your staffing, and I know that you really wanted to invest in this software that's gonna help you to manage your employee base better or your recruits better. Listen, this is a way I'm gonna give you $300 back in your budget now that you can go ahead and invest into that software, which, by the way, is now gonna make you so much more impactful and effective on this side, and you're gonna turn around and generate and save, 100 grand this year from that
Mhm.
$300 investment, and this is how. I had to draw the line, right? I had to do the connective tissue. But you can't do that unless you are an expert or you know what that person cares the most about in their job. What's going to make them successful? What's going to get them fired? Like these are the sorts of things when I'm teaching, right? And I'm teaching discovery. That's what I want my sellers to know. I want when I debrief a seller, I want to know. This is the number one question I want to know from them. Hey, what's going to get that person promoted? What's gonna get them fired? Because if I know those, and those triggers, I know that's what's going to matter the most to them, right? And if I don't know that moving forward, man, you're gonna find more and more buyers going around the seller directly to the platforms and making their purchases. Because again, the platforms and AI are far better at delivering information and data than an individual.
What's really interesting about that, and, like, once again, I know I'm in this assignment of being divorced from the founder side, but, like, the vendors, the people who sell platforms, we've thought so much and we've done, we as in like all of us have pushed our sales teams to think about like what's the initiative, what is the incumbent tool they have, like your $1,000 versus your $700. And like to your point, which I love, the what we've seen, and we've really honed in on this, I'd say, over the past few quarters, but like that is not what no one has an initiative to be like, I want to change this vendor or provider for XYZ reason. They might have an initiative to be like, we need to cut our vendor spend by 20%, or we may need to, we want to add headcounts. We've got to change our spending categories. But like, there's never like yeah, cool. We want a thing that has a different, different set of features. Like that's never the initiative. It's never been the initiative. It's like, and to your point, like you're just
Yeah.
cutting past all of that with like what gets them promoted, what gets them fired. I love that. I think it's a great reference point to be thinking about.
And Brian, you know what that does for your seller and it does for your business? Because you just kept using a term that um, I work very diligently to get my clients and their sellers out of this box, and that is the vendor box, the
Yeah.
vendor, the
Yeah.
VAR. No, I want you to be a trusted advisor. You know what a
Right.
trusted advisor is? That means that that person, that decision maker, they'll come to you for questions that aren't directly related to what you sell. That's when
Yeah.
you know you got them. But you don't ever get there until you've done the work to really understand, hey, what makes them tick? What's going on in their business and their life beyond your product, beyond your service. And that's the work that I've been teaching for a long time, but it's now becoming necessary. You could get by in the past being that's me, right? You could, like, you just go in and sound
Yeah.
smarter than the other guy because the other guy hasn't done his homework.
Right.
But moving forward, this is where again, while I've got my sign in Times Square. This is happening.
Yeah.
My clients are doing it right now. I don't. You're probably not going to share this publicly, but you're doing it. Right? You're creating a digital buying journey probably on your platform because that's what smart companies are doing.
Yeah.
And so that it just means an evolution of the salesperson. I'll share one other thing with you, Brian. Like because I got in a little bit of a debate with another leader a few weeks back. Is as the leader was saying, "Hey, listen, I this is great, but like this evolution, it's going to create other jobs." And respectfully, I said, yeah, but less jobs. You understand that,
Yeah.
right? Like you need less work, so it creates a new job, but that new job is to manage something.
Yeah.
It's less people. And salespeople have for a long time been immune from those technology advances. But
Yeah.
this one is directly targeting what salespeople do every single day. The buying journey is changing, and you're a fool if you don't pay attention to it and realize that things begin and things end, and that's just the
Mhm.
natural way of life. Like there are plenty of jobs from the past that no longer exist, Brian, or they exist in a much smaller capacity. Remember secretaries?
Yeah. I haven't seen one in years.
That was a professional job. People
Right.
went to school to be a secretary. It was a good job. How about we're in technology. How about central operators,
Yeah.
central office technicians? Um, these are all examples of jobs that were great jobs,
Yeah.
that just simply don't exist anymore because technology evolved. Contact center reps, it's
Yeah.
another one, like, we've seen right in front of our eyes over the last decade, that decade, probably last 15, 20 years, continued to decline. The level I started my first technology job was in a call center,
Yeah.
right?
Me too.
Working for AT&T Universal Card back in the day, and it was a massive call center. Those call centers don't exist anymore, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me, because I think this is connected to that idea. And I don't want to like frame this up where I put words in your mouth. So I want to kind of like hand it over to you cleanly. But, I know a big part of what you're doing is working with people on their Well, you're doing. You're out on LinkedIn, you're on Instagram, you're on Substack, you're putting out content that people can react to and to learn from, but it's also to build that, you know, them hear you and know, okay, Ronnell's an expert. He's dealing with my peers. He's dealing with customers like me. And I know you're getting your clients and salespeople that you're working with to do similar things. How is how is the social element changing? Because my theory is that everyone kind of has to build this brand, whether they want to or not. They have to kind of build a more public facing, searchable, influenceable brand. Are you advising that? How are the customers that you're working with or your clients like, adopting what is more of like a kind of like a B2C model in what used to be like a B2B, you can just call, email someone, and now you may not
Yeah.
be able to cut through that noise.
So we don't need more noise. We just need clarity. Okay. So when I look at like what I do, the vast majority of y'all should not be doing what I do. Okay. There's a reason why I do what I have 200,000 students globally. I do consulting, I do coaching, I have, you know, online courses and relationships with companies, like yours where I do, webinars and trainings and all those sorts of things. That's why I do the level that I do. For most of you, all that's not necessary. You and I are old enough, Brian, to remember this big book called The Yellow Pages, right? And if you weren't in the Yellow Pages, you just weren't legitimate,
Couldn't be
right?
found.
And the bigger your ad in the Yellow Pages, the bigger the more your credibility and legitimacy. So if I'm looking for a plumber and I scroll through and I say, "Oh, Brian's plumbing," and he's got a half a page. Oh, okay. And then I can see, oh, he's AAA. Oh, and he's got 5-star reviews. All bullshit because Brian made it up, but it's in the book.
Right. Totally right. And you'd
So
have
it's
a name,
legit.
your company would start with an A because it'd be alphabetical after the like
All of
sponsored
that,
ones. It's
right?
crazy.
So
Yeah.
when we think about social media right now, this is the modern day Yellow Pages. So I don't think about it when I'm advising people like, everyone isn't comfortable doing the things that I do. And again, you don't need to. 90% of you shouldn't be doing everything that I do. But what you need to do is to be taking advantage of this opportunity to provide credibility and clarity around your products, services, and yourself. Because when someone Googles you, you do it for sellers. You do a cold call, and you call up an executive, and that executive she Googles you. Okay, Ronnell Richards. What comes up? What comes up? And if it doesn't bring credibility to what it is that you are doing and how you're making a living, you got a problem. And the very first thing that's going to come up because of um, the shadow people is the Microsoft and all that is LinkedIn. So your LinkedIn profile is going to come up as one of the first things when people search you. And when they look at your LinkedIn profile, what does it say? Does it just say, for most of you, it's your resume? That's a major fail.
Yeah.
Um, what it needs to show is how you serve. It needs to show, like if you're a salesperson, which most of y'all are watching are salespeople, your profile should be a selling tool. This is something that I spend and with a lot of my clients, Brian, that's the first thing we do. I look at their LinkedIn and say, okay, here's how you change it. Like it
Yeah.
has to all of your history. Who gives a crap that you worked for X company 5 years ago and did this and hit President's Club? Nobody cares. It should
Right.
be telling the story of how you serve or how you're better positioned and have all this great experience to serve the client that you serve today.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
the
really
story
good
that it
point.
needs to tell. So that is at a very baseline. Everyone needs to do that, and then you need to put out some content semi regularly that brings credibility to what it is that you do. Forget the doggone clicks and likes. Who gives a shit about that? What matters is that when somebody looks at your profile and they look at your content, that it brings credibility to you and who you say you are and what you do and how you serve. That is what matters the most because the real success metric is one. It's that one client. Dude, I signed a big client in July. I'd never heard of them. They're big. I'd never heard of them. You know how it's just some content that they dug where it's me talking about my work and my philosophy on sales and business. That's how they got to me. you know?
It's
That was
yeah.
success. One, not the, thousands of impressions or the likes from all the friendlies. That one company, that one executive that's never liked anything that I've done. I've never seen them click on anything. That's what success is.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, to me, the part you just said about a salesperson thinking about the value they deliver, how they serve, like, I like that word serve. Like, that to me is it, because you're right, like, every salesperson that I look at their profile, it's just a resume, and it shows that they
Mhm.
used to sell this thing for this company, now they sell that thing for the different company, and, like, that doesn't tell me anything. It tells me nothing actually, other than they move their sales jobs a lot, which is cool. But, like, the serve and the expertise, I really, really like. Okay, I'm gonna open one more up, and then I know I'll
Okay.
get you out of here to get to your day. Um, and I wanna get kind of back to this, like, community and connecting, and if I could, tee it up for you, Ronell, you're thinking 12 months out in your business and in your clients' businesses. How are you thinking about our sales and marketing world changing, and where are you prioritizing your energy, or how are you shifting your process to be, the best position 12 months from now?
Yeah. It's all about a convergence right now, Brian. Like having just this great cohesive strategy. Like, before hopping on and talking with you, I'm working on another kind of partnership motion with another company, right? And I'm doing things that I was never able to do. Well, I won't say I wasn't able to do. I wasn't able to do with this level of expediency and this level of accuracy in terms of the outcome. Here's what I mean. I've spent, and shout out to my small legion of graphic designers that I've used over the last 20 years. Um, but I had to rely on folks to design stuff for me. I had to rely on website designers and all that, which is fine because they had the expertise that I didn't have. Problem with that is that each one of those builds took time and investment. And ultimately, usually what you get at the end is like 75% at best, 75% or 80% of what my vision was,
Right.
right? So there's this time element and then this lack of cohesiveness with the marketing asset and the sales effort. So now what I'm able to do, like I've saved probably 100 grand this year, Ryan. I'm designing all again, the simple stuff. I'm designing it all in-house. All of our websites, our landing pages, all in-house now, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing all of that stuff. And what happens is because of my level of expertise and experience, I can draw the sales outcomes to those marketing assets in ways that my folks that worked for me could never do because I
Right.
see the vision. It's like
Right.
beautiful mind shit, right? Like I see,
Yeah.
and so I can connect all of that shit, right? And now because of the technology, I can deliver something that is awesome and they connect that to my sales activities. That is necessary for everyone here moving forward, like whether it be companies or individual sellers. Like you have the tools now. But,
Right.
like I said in the presentation that I gave last week, I shared the story of my dad and I built refinishing our basement when I was a kid. And, when it was done, we had all the tools. We had all the tools. It was awesome, right? Had all the tools, all the supplies. But at the end of the day, it looked like a basement that was done by dad and his 12-year-old, right? Like,
Yeah.
so what I taught people and shared with people is that I want you building patches. I want you patching holes. Like I can
Yeah.
punch a hole in the wall and I can fix that bad boy and make it look pretty damn good. So now with the tech, you got to be patching holes and bring the sales and marketing and the sales and marketing strategy together. Honestly, I'm a bit concerned for my marketing friends and leaders out there because they gotta get better. Like, because now sales is going to be able to do more of these things,
Yeah.
and so it's kinda devaluing them a bit. That's a story for another day, but to fully answer your question, it's really about cohesive sales and marketing strategy, and that's what I'm working on a lot because I'm pretty damn good at organic marketing, and understanding that in ways that a lot of, even seasoned marketers don't. So you got to combine those efforts. And now, where we talked about a multi touch point like outreach for sales, we've been talking about that for years, right? You got to do text and phone calls and direct message. Well, the marketing piece has to be in that now as well,
Yeah.
right? And building custom landing pages and all those sorts of things.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it, man. This was fantastic. I really appreciate you coming on. I feel like I could do a whole other 30 minutes with you. Maybe we'll get that back on the book sometime soon.
My pleasure.
Um, Ronnell, you are a prolific sharer. I feel like your expertise is all over the place. What's the place that you want people to go find you on the URLs on the internet?
Yeah. You can find I'm a man of the world. You can find me everywhere. If you can't, I'm doing something wrong, and I'm not doing anything wrong. Trust me. I work really hard at making sure that I'm everywhere. But you can always go to ronnellrichards.com, and to use an old cliche, uh, Kurt Signetti reference, Google me. Football fans
Nice.
will college football
I
fans will get
win.
that. I win.
free
And that's
free
one of the things that y'all will see is that, not only do I win, I grind. And yeah, I try to do the best to take care of myself, but know that my commitment to my work, my commitment to my clients, to my students is unmatched. It's unmatched. And the proof is in the pudding. Google me. I'm all about this. I'm all about the business. I'm all about the work. I'm all about the outcomes. I'm all about the service. And everything you'll see out there will say that.
I love it, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, and I'll talk to you soon.
Brian, good to see you, man.
Great to see you.